Well, thanks for coming in. So the big story, Old Mutual suspending its CEO because they've lost confidence in him. I mean, was this a surprise?
So it wasn't a surprise in the sense that a lot of market analysts weren't really confident of Peter Moyo's ability to lead Old Mutual. We do know that he's got various business interests in other companies, including his own, which is at the center of this particular disagreement between the board and himself, NMT Investments. So what he has said here is that he's done nothing wrong and he's not going to take the suspension lying down. What we did see was the chairman of the company, Trevor Manuel, saying that it wasn't any financial misconduct, but it was really a conflict of interest in terms of his engagement with NMT, which had been invested in by Old Mutual, and that was really going to disturb decisions that need to be made by Old Mutual in relation to NMT. So this is very interesting because it's not his first gripe with boards. He had a disagreement with Alexander Forbes when he was the chief executive and when he left in 2007, as well as Vodacom had a issue with the board there when he wanted his investment firm to buy a huge stake in the phone company a few years ago. So it's going to be a very interesting one to watch because, I mean, it hasn't even been a year since it separated from the UK and trading on the JSE again, and really just that stability is what the investors are going to be looking for, Devon.
Now, Sun International, we've got some gaming assets in Latin America and they want to buy that.
Yeah, so they've invested in some gaming assets under their a company that they have there called Sun Dreams. So they're in the middle of a merger with a company called Pacifico, and what they're going to have here is Sun Dreams and Pacifico are going to share 50% of Sun Dreams, and they're going to be buying up a lot of assets in Latin America, saying it's a really good growth opportunity for them, especially in gaming and leisure, and that's where a lot of their revenue is going to be coming from. I find it very interesting based on the current economic climate globally that Latin America is that growth prospect for Sun International, but that's where they're heading. But it also does show that they've got a healthy healthy balance sheet in terms of what they'll be spending their money on investments, in terms of mergers and acquisitions, and not necessarily focusing on what they have currently and maintaining that, which is what a lot of companies are looking to do in this particular climate.
Now, the company that brings Starbucks, Domino's Pizzas into the country, Taste Holdings, they say in a trading statement, earnings are going to be lower, but not as bad as the previous year. What's that about? Yeah,
so Devon, they've released their trading statement, as you've said, and they're going to be reporting a headline loss per share of about 37%, which is a little less bad than it was in the previous time, which was 41%. Now, we do know that Taste Holdings has had a lot of hiccups when it came to bringing Starbucks into the country. Domino's Pizza doing relatively well for their market, as well as their luxury goods market, which, as you would know, owns NWJ. So economic headwinds, as well as the fact that Starbucks has not been received very well in the country. We always joke that to say South Africa is not a coffee nation, as you would see in the US and the like. But what's interesting, in a previous statement, they had indicated that one of their strategies to perhaps increase revenue is to increase the stores of Starbucks around the country. More Starbucks stores means more consumers going into shops, logically, but we really don't know. So we're going to keep a close eye on Taste Holdings and see where they go there in terms of that expansion of Starbucks stores, just to make sure they can get in that revenue that they've been missing out on since they bought into that brand.
Oh, interesting to see. Rofhiwa, thanks very much indeed for giving us some insight there. Rofhiwa Madzena off the business desk talking to us about some of the happenings today and this week.